All right, guys, Anthony here with Speciale Analysis. I want to break down this opportunity. These are the things that I look for when it comes to technical trading. Now, listen, the profit pack makes this very simplified, but if you like traditional technicals or if you want to pair traditional technicals with the profit pack, I want to run through in this video the things that I personally look for when it comes to a technical setup that makes sense to me. So what we're looking at here is WTI light sweet crude oil. We are looking at a 116 tick fall out of bed tumble in basically into the opening bell where we found a bottom here on this particular day. And I'm going to run through the things I look for. So first I want a break of either a computer populated trend line, a channel structure I've drawn myself, a daily pivot, a weekly pivot. I'm looking for a break of a structure, a particular breakdown, in fact, to short or a breakout or break, to the upside to buy the market. So I need an area of confirmation. I need to break some form of either ascending or descending support or resistance or some type of, structure in order for any consideration to really matter to me. Now, in addition to the break of a structure, I'm looking for some supporting technical components as well. A couple of the things I look at is a higher time frame moving average. So in this instance, the dots that you see here plotting on my chart, the pink and purple dots, are representing a 15-minute moving average. The fast moving averages are represented by this thin black, purple, and pink line. That's the 21, 13, and 8 EMA. I have two VWAPs. The blue line here is a standard or fixed VWAP, and the orange line here is what we call a rolling VWAP. Volume weighted average price, for those of you who are not familiar with what a VWAP is. Up top here, I have a MACD that I have customized to my liking, just changed a few settings to optimize it to work the way I desire it to. And of course, down here on the bottom, I have actual printing volume. So even if a candle were to print upward, if there was more selling volume, it would, print red, or inversely, if it was to print downward with more buying volume, it will print green. And the reason I like that is I want to see who's in control. I believe that volume leads price action. So I want a lot of selling volume present if I'm looking to enter the market short. I want a lot of buying volume present if I'm looking to enter the market long. So right here, identified by this arrow, is the break of this trend line right here. You can see we danced on support in this candle. We broke below. So this was our confirmation to enter the trade. I typically look back at the trigger candle and the prior candle, and that is where I place my stop based on that two candle formation. So you can see right here, we were risking about 17 ticks here. Should this trade have gone bad, that's the amount of risk we ultimately had. Now, we did consolidate here for a little while. We consolidated along a prior low. Ultimately, we broke out below it, came back, retested it, but we continued the pressure on. Again, those fast-moving averages were in sync. So it did keep that pressure flowing there. We tested the 13 EMA several times, ultimately tested the 21 before we kind of crapped the bed here. And then we fell into what is a weekly pivot. This dashed orange line here is a weekly pivot. You can see we had a reaction here. We had selling volume in. We had some indecision here over a period of two candles as we kind of consolidated in this area, ultimately to break and close below this prior low, which was the foresight to say, hey, this is likely to go lower, which we ultimately did, as we fell as low as 89.22, offering us a total from the entry to the absolute low of 116 ticks of profit-taking opportunity. Now, if you are the type of trader that as soon as your price action goes in the profit and you take your profit off the table, you missed this whole move. In this instance, I would not have been considering any profit taking until I reached the weekly pivot right here. And from that point to here, we're talking about, 40 plus, 50 plus ticks, on the way down. So this was about the halfway point. This is where I would have sold a portion of my position. I would have moved my stop to break even. And then I would have let this kind of run here. And as this continued to move along, I ultimately, with this close below this low at the pivot, I would have moved my stop right here to the top of this candle. After this couple little candle formations start to extend, I would have tightened my stop up and continued just to kind of tighten my stop up until I was, probably got knocked out somewhere right down here in this base. I probably would have got out before the opening bell simply because, well, it instills a bunch of volatility. And notice how the majority of the volume, even before the breakdown, was all selling, massive selling. And then guess what happened here? This is what we call a green bottom. This is a candle that plots an absolute low with, notably heavy buying volume. So that's what transpired here. As soon as I saw that, that would be the end of it for me. I know that this is when, things are going to kind of go south here, and that's when I would have probably exited my trade. Would you have called all 116 ticks? Pretty unlikely, only because there wasn't a target sitting here. But I do like taking profit at 50 cents, 25 cents, 75 cents, round dollars. Those round quarters for me are areas where I would be taking profit. So yes, I probably would have even peeled some of my profit off down here at 89.25. No, I would have not nailed the last couple ticks, but again, at those quarter inklings, particularly on crude oil, is where I probably would have kind of peeled something off, and then the balance would have got stopped out right in this vicinity. But guys, this here is $1,160 per contract traded. If you're like me and you trade with a handful of contracts and you peel them off into the profit, this one trade here, should have paid all of your monthly bills. It's really just that simple. I wait for the things that I discussed, favoring the 15-minute moving averages, fast moving averages, 21, 13, 8 EMA, all in sync. I look for volume present, favoring the move anticipated. I look for my optimized MACD to be pressing off the zero line, which in this case it was. You can see that the MACD histogram was starting its push lower. And guys, if you just check all the boxes, trading's really easy. So while these steps are a little different than the profit pack approach, they work just as well. So the real benefit comes when you own the profit pack, you join the daily live trade room, you get the profit pack on your screen. On my screen share, you get all the traditional technicals, and I even include something called order flow, which is offered by Bookmap, and that displays when and where the actual liquidity in the market exists. So if we saw a bunch of liquidity down here at 89.20, we probably on the Bookmap would have been able to say, all right, it would take a lot of strength there for the sellers to push through that. We really want to take profit as we approach that liquidity, and we want to tighten the crap out of our stop loss and basically squeeze it so tight that no matter what happens, we're either going to continue lower or we're going to get stopped out with a boatload of profit. Guys, if you want to learn more about how I trade live with my students, my clients, you can go to anthonyspeciale.com/trade-live-with-me. And you can learn more about how that program works. We look at 4 markets: light sweet crude oil, NASDAQ, S&P, and gold futures. But the technical approach that we take can be applied to ultimately any market that you desire to trade yourself. But I provide you with all of the charts that you need and all the hand-drawn analysis that you need, with all the indicators that you need in order to successfully navigate and interpret the market. And again, pairing this with the profit pack on your other screen is like a bulletproof approach to the market. When you got technicals supporting the profit pack, or you got the profit pack supporting the technicals, listen, when it comes to reassurance, I wouldn't know honestly how you could make it any better than what it is. So guys, if you're ready to learn a skill set that you can use for the balance of your life that will pay you dividends until the end of time, this is something you could teach your kids, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews. This is just a different way of life, I encourage you to reach out to me. I can show you the profit pack. You can, decide if the profit pack and the live trade room is for you. If you're just a technical trader and you want all the analysis provided for you, all the tools that you need to do your job better than you currently are, you can join me every morning in the live trade room. And not only is it, every morning that I'm with you, I leave the live trade room running all day long so that you have access to my technicals, to my analysis, to the order flow in the market, so that you, should you just decide that you want to trade beyond the session, the tools are all there for you. I mean, I make this as brainless and as simple as possible. I bring so much value to the table that the investment is literally pennies on the dollar compared to what you're getting. But the next step is really yours. Like, you have to reach out, or you have to go to my website, or to learn about trading live with me, to learn more about the profit pack, to learn more about any of the products or services that I offer. Like, guys, the next step is ultimately yours. And if you don't take it, you will have nobody to blame when you look back at your life and say, I woulda, coulda, shoulda taken a chance to learn a skill set that will provide for me and my family for decades to come. So I'll see you in the next video, but I wanted to just share this opportunity with you. I mean, this move just checked the boxes, favoring the 15-minute moving averages below both VWAPs, 21, 13, 8 EMA, all in sync. Selling volume present, MACD pushing off the zero line in favor. I mean, guys, you just check those boxes and you can see that the price literally fell out of bed. Over 100 ticks, over $1,000, over $1,100, in fact, per contract traded. You only have to catch a little piece of this with a few contracts. And again, you've literally paid your monthly bills in a matter of 90 minutes. I mean, Jesus, it doesn't get better than that. People work all week or all month to, have the opportunity to make what could have been made inside of just 90 short minutes. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Look forward to hearing from you, and we'll get you up and running as quick as you're ready to.